Today's video, we're going to be following the progression of the Chicago Bulls through the 1993 NBA playoffs up through the finals, where they won their third title in 3 years in the early 90s. We're going to do that with the card text from these 4 cards from the 1993 Upper Deck Highlights Series, all featuring Michael Jordan. There's some good games in here, so let's do this. Welcome to Cardtext, where we examine the circumstances that form the settings of a sports card image. Today's video, we got 4 cards from the 1993 Upper Deck Highlight Series showing the Chicago Bulls through the progression of the playoffs that year, leading up to their third title in 3 years. First card we're going to look at today is card number 180. And it highlights the first round of the playoffs between the number 2 seed Chicago Bulls and the number 7 seed Atlanta Hawks. On the front of the card, we see that the Bulls swept the Hawks 3-0 from April 30th to May 4th. The photo shows Michael Jordan being guarded by Stacey Augmon. He's kind of holding the ball away from him. Jordan is wearing his red jersey and Augmon the white jersey, so this means that they are in Atlanta. In 93, the first round was a best-of-5 series where the first 2 games were played in the higher-seeded team's stadium. The second 2 were played at the lower-seed stadium, and then the 5th game, if necessary, was back at the higher-seed stadium. Since the series only went to 3 games, then we know that the game on this card had to have been Game 3 since it was the only one played in Atlanta. And Game 3 was played on May 4th, 1993. Through most of the game, Michael Jordan was guarded by Mookie Blaylock. So since this card has Stacey Augmon, this is going to help narrow down our search. Jordan also went out with a sprained ankle in the 3rd and then came back later in the 4th to finish the game out. This play actually happened in the last few seconds of the game, where the Bulls were up on the verge of victory, and Stacey Augmon was just going to foul Michael Jordan in order to stop the clock to give them another possession. So let's take a look at the game footage. All right, so looking at game footage here, this is late in the 4th quarter with the Bulls with a good lead, and they inbound the ball, and they're just running out the clock here at the end of the 4th, and Stacey Augmon goes for the foul and to stop the clock. So let's go back. So Jordan with the ball in his left hand and Augmon reaching around. More up towards his chest. It's going to be right in here is where this image was taken. Look at it one more time. All right, so let's see how this game turned out. So looking back at basketballreference.com, we see that Game 3 was played on Tuesday, May 4th, 1993 at the Omni Coliseum in Atlanta to a crowd of 15,141. The Bulls won this game 98-88, moving on to the second round of the playoffs. For the Bulls, Michael Jordan had a game high of 39 points on 16 for 28 shooting, with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Horace Grant had 17 points and Scottie Pippen had 11. For the Hawks, Dominique Wilkins led the way with 29 points on 11 for 26 shooting, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Dwayne Farrell came off the bench with 18 points and Kevin Willis had 17. Stacey Augmon, pictured on the card, had 15 points on 6 for 12 shooting with 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. All right, the next card in the set is card number 187. This features the 93 Eastern Conference semifinals between the number 2 Chicago Bulls and number 3 Cleveland Cavaliers. This series took place between May 11th and May 17th, 1993. And as we can see from the picture on the front of the card, it says that the Bulls swept this series also 4-0. Seeing as this was a 7-game series, the first 2 games would have been in Chicago and second 2 would have been in Cleveland. So since Jordan's wearing his red jersey, this means this has to be either game 3 or game 4. Gerald Wilkins is guarding Michael Jordan on this play, and both these guys played in both those games, so that doesn't help narrow it down anymore. So there are several options here since this is a pretty standard jump shot with Gerald Wilkins defending. And so I've come up with 3 options from game 3 and 4 options from game 4. It looks like the most likely is going to be game 3, but let's take a look at this game footage and see what you think. So the 3 options I have in game 3, this is the one that I feel is most likely, and most likely the one overall where this image was taken. So let's take a look at it. Jordan has it there around the free throw line. He comes up with his little fadeaway jumper, misses. But if we come back, roll it back, and you see this is where Gerald Wilkins has his left arm up, contesting the shot, kind of with his body turned at an angle like this. And Jordan with that absolute perfect fadeaway jumper. So that's my vote. Tell me what you think in the comment section. But let's look at some other options. All right, still in game 3. Bulls bring it down. So Jordan gets it here at the corner of the key with a shot there. Let's roll it back. So you see the way Gerald Wilkins' body is positioned on this one is just not the same as the one in the card. He's still going with it with his left hand, but his body is more squared up with Jordan than in the picture. So let's look at the other option in game 3. All right, so this is the 3rd option in game 3. Late in the game here with just several seconds left, the Bulls bring it down. Let's move it forward a little bit. With just a couple left on the shot clock, Jordan with the little turn away jumper. So let's roll it back. So let's roll it back. See there again, Wilkins has a good, he's going at it with it, checking with his left hand. But just the way his body is positioned doesn't look like it's in the card. If you feel this is a better option, let me know down in the comments. All right, so we pick up game 4 here. This is the next option and this one is questionable, but this is picking up there in the 3rd quarter of game 4. About 10 minutes left. Jordan gets it here kind of on the wing and shoots. It's not a very good look at it. So that's why this is kind of a maybe, because it's hard to see Wilkins and the way he's kind of positioned. But I feel good about the one in the game 3, but this is definitely a possibility. And a quick little fast break there. Here's the 2nd option in game 4. This one also is going to be a maybe. Jordan guarded by Wilkins with the shot there. Let's roll it back. Still, it's a maybe. But Wilkins' hand doesn't look like it's up as high as Jordan's on that one, where in the image on the card, their hands are about the same height. So that's why this is a maybe. But let's check out another one. All right, so we're picking up, this is the 3rd option, still in game 4. Still in the third quarter. We see the Bulls bring it down. Jordan's going to take the shot again here on the wing. Basically a carbon copy of the last one, except he made this one. So let's take a look. See, Jordan's up at the apex of his jump shot there, and Wilkins has barely even left the ground. So this one is definitely less likely, but still an option. Let me know what you guys think. So going into this is the one that was deemed to be the most likely, the most obvious choice when coming into it. It's the so-called shot 2, which occurred at the end of game 4. But that's not the case. But we'll take a look at it. Still a good, amazing shot. So time running down, nails it. And the Bulls go on to sweep the series. Let's go back and look at it again. So my issue with this one, while Wilkins looks like he's in a relatively good position, there's this other defender who is right there by him too that you cannot see in this picture. So that's what rules this one out for me. But still a great play, great way to end the game, exciting ending. All right, so looking at basketballreference.com, we see that Game 3 was played on May 15th, 1993 at the Coliseum at Richfield, the home of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bulls won this game 96-90. Michael Jordan led the way for the Bulls with 32 points on 12 for 24 shooting, with 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Scottie Pippen had 28 points, and B.J. Armstrong added 12. For the Cavaliers, Larry Nance led the way with 24 points on an impressive 11 for 12 shooting, with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. The other 4 starters in the game all had double digits also, with Mark Price scoring 18, Brad Daughtry and Gerald Wilkins each having 16, and Craig Elo adding 10. Game 4 was also played at the Coliseum at Richfield, and this one was on May 17th, 1993. The Bulls won this one to complete the sweep, 103-101, with Michael Jordan, so-called the shot 2, winning the game at the buzzer. He had a game high of 31 points on 11 for 24 shooting, with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant each added 17 points, and Bill Cartwright added 14. Brad Daughtry led the Cavaliers with 25 points on 8 for 12 shooting, with 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Gerald Wilkins had 22, and Larry Nance added 18. All right, the third card in this set's card number 193, and this features the Eastern Conference Finals between the top seed New York Knicks and the number 2 seed Chicago Bulls. So this card shows that Michael Jordan had 54 points, and it says May 31st. So this is a shot of Michael Jordan putting up a shot between Charles Oakley, John Starks, and this guy on the left, his number begins with a 2, is going to be either Doc Rivers, who was number 25, or Rolando Blackman, who was number 20. So good news, bad news. This 54-point outing on May 31st was actually played in Chicago. So if the image on the card, we see that Jordan's in his red jersey, so that means this game was played in New York. So this picture is not even from the May 31st game where he scored 54 points. So the Bulls did end up going on to win this series 4-2, which means the first 2 games, with the Knicks being the higher seed, first 2 games would have been played in New York. So this could be game 1 or 2. Game 3 and 4 would have been in Chicago. Game 5 would have been back in New York, so it could be game 5. And then game 6 would have been in Chicago. And if there had been a game 7, it would have been back in New York. So let's take a look at the game footage from 1, 2, and 5 and see if we can find this play. All right, so for this card, we're looking at Charles Oakley, John Starks, and either Doc Rivers or Rolando Blackman. So we pick up here in the third with about 2.5 left. They feed to Jordan here in the post, and he takes the shot there. So let's see, let's go back and see what we got. So as he turns and shoots, he has all three of these defenders around him. This is Patrick Ewing further away, but this has got Oakley and Starks. And I still can't tell who this other player is. This footage, of course, is someone VHS recorded it, I'm sure. But that's in game one. That's the one I feel like is going to be the one. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So it looks like the picture on this card is from game one, which was played on May 23rd, 1993 at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The Knicks would win this one 98-90, taking a 1-0 series lead over the defending champs. Patrick Ewing and John Starks led the way for the Knicks with 25 points each. Ewing had an impressive 17 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. John Starks had an impressive 3-point shooting game, going 5 for 7, adding 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. For the Bulls, Michael Jordan had a game high of 27 points on 10 for 27 shooting, with 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Scottie Pippen had 24, and B.J. Armstrong had 16, also going 2 for 2 from the three-point line. So as stated on the card, the 54-point game was Game 4, played on May 31st, 1993 at the Chicago Stadium. Going into this game, the Knicks were up 2-1, hoping to take a decisive 3-1 series lead. So let's look at some of the highlights from that 54-point outing.
He can be a scorer or a passer. This time he gets real good lift. It gives him a little bit better look in the front of the rim. And that time he knocks out one of the rare jumpers that have gone down for him in the last 2 games. Excellent lift that time. He got the legs underneath him to elevate just a little bit higher.
The sprained ankle is of great significance. They need Grant hanging back in the trap. Starks again. And John Starks with a 3-pointer and a 2. Starks gambled on the overplay. Jordan knocks it down. That's a 3-pointer. Pippen on a pull-up. And again it's Grant able to keep it alive. Jordan. Yes. Michael Jordan.
Jordan's trying to get to the middle of the floor. There, I think he felt a little shove at the last second. Knocked him back. He turns and looks.
Heading first quarter, the Bulls with a 4-point lead. Horace Grant with one of those offensive rebounds. Horace also 3 out of 4 from the field. And how about Michael Jordan bouncing back from the 3 of 18. He's hit 5 of 9.
Michael Jordan realizing how much time is left on the game clock, figures they can get a 2-for-1, so why not try for the 3-pointer?
Michael Jordan beating John Starks. 3 fouls on Starks. Jordan for 3. Yes! Jordan played well by Starks. Jordan for 3. Yes! Right on a downside when one player is scoring that many points. Jordan again! A 3-pointer. The playoffs that Michael Jordan has scored 50 or more.
The idea is to make him put it on the floor so he can't get his feet set, make him try and beat you off the dribble. So the first time he sticks it standing still, the next time after one quick dribble, he gets enough room to still elevate. Let Jordan create from the middle.
Here's Jordan on the fake. Yes! 52 points.
With the clock running down, watch Michael Jordan's lips. He just sends a little message to Doc Rivers like, let's go, here we come. Just to let him know it's time to get down and try and stop him. No way.
So the Bulls ended up winning Game 4, 105-95, tying the series up at 2, heading back to New York. Michael Jordan had the 54 points on 18 for 30 shooting and was 6 for 9 from 3-point range, with 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Horace Grant added 14, and Scottie Pippen 13, and B.J. Armstrong 12. For the Knicks, Patrick Ewing and John Starks both had 24 points. Ewing shot 10 for 20 from the field with 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, and 1 block. John Starks was 9 for 17 shooting with 3 rebounds and 7 assists. Anthony Mason came off the bench to add 16, and Charles Smith had 15. All right, so the last card in the set is number 201 and highlights the NBA Finals between the Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns. The text on the card says that Jordan's 55 points gives Chicago a 3-1 series lead. This is game 4. This game was played on June 16th, 1993 at Chicago Stadium. So on the card we see that Michael Jordan is raising his arms in excitement with another Bulls player grabbing him around the waist. So it looks like that player's first number is 1. So it's most likely B.J. Armstrong who wore number 10. They're in their white home jerseys, and game 4 was played in Chicago, so we don't have the same issue as the last card. So this is obviously pretty easy to find, so let's look at the footage. All right, so the last card is here at Chicago Stadium. This is game 4 of the 93 NBA Finals. So this one's a pretty easy one to find here. The Bulls are just holding it out, trying to run down the clock. Jordan goes in, draws the foul, and there it is. In the agony of defeat, poor old Charles. Let's go back. Let's take another look at it. He gets a shot, gets the foul, and comes down, and that is 100% the shot there. Caps off Jordan's amazing 55-point performance there to give the Chicago Bulls a 3-1 series lead there and definite advantage, and then they of course go on to win that series. So let's see how this game turned out. So as stated, the Bulls would go on to win this one 111-105. Michael Jordan had that amazing 55-point performance on 21 for 37 shooting with 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Horace Grant had 17 and Scottie Pippen added 14. For the Suns, Charles Barkley gave it a great effort with a triple-double with 32 points on 10 for 19 shooting with 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Kevin Johnson had 19 points and Richard Dumas had 17. The Bulls would go on to win this series in 6 games, and Michael Jordan would claim Finals MVP and the Bulls' first three-peat of the 1990s. Thanks for taking this trip with me down memory lane, following the Chicago Bulls through the 93 playoffs. If you've stuck around this long in the video, I apologize for the mess in the background. We're doing some home renovations, so everything's kind of in shambles. If you have any input on the plays I selected, put it down in the comment section below. If you could, hit a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see ya.